How to find potential psychic ability in someone's chart. Most people who come for an astrology consult have a strong interest in these subjects, so you kind of always get asked the question. I have over the years, and I've seen certain things in particularly charts that indicate it. So how do we look at it? I mean, most people are familiar with planetary astrology, so and there's many things that can be considered to do with psychic sensitivity, particularly the planet Neptune. But how do we understand it from a Chinese astrological point of view? Now, this cycle is very important to understand. It's like the clock, the peaks. So we've got what's called the four peaks. Let's look at this first. So we've got the rabbit here. At the top we've got the horse. Over here we've got the rooster, and down here we've got the rat. Now, obviously in China, and like in all directions, the sun rises in the east, which is the rabbit, and descends over into the west, which is the rooster. So, like in all mythologies, if anyone's done their homework right, the sun descends in the west. So set, so to speak, sunset is the glyph or the totem of the rooster, which represents the direction of the west, which represents the metal element. This is why metal is the color white, and a lot of the Chinese wear white clothes at funerals, because it's considered the beginning or the passage into the underworld. Obviously the sun's about to descend on the western side. So now in Bazi, in the four pillars, we look for pretty much the dog. The dog's known as the gateway to the underworld, followed by the pig. If people have two of those together, usually they can have psychic abilities or interested in, I would say, what I've seen over the years, a lot of people do, or they have a very strong interest in that, as well as the physical side of things, those kind of subjects. So the dog is a passage to the underworld, because remember the sun's making its journey below the horizon here, followed by the pig. So generally people can have psychic ability with these two animals together, and usually they have to be together in the chart. So if it's in the day and month pillar, it'd be more lifelong. If it's in the year and the month pillar, maybe the first part of their life. These things can get triggered through cycles as well. But I found mostly in terms of what they call paranormal kind of situations, I've seen two instances with some clients who actually had a dog somewhere in the chart, I can't remember off the top of my head, which is down here, followed by the dragon, come up in a luck cycle. And these two connections, the dog's below the horizon, the dragon's just above it. They call that what they call the net of heaven and hell, like being trapped in purgatory, so to speak. Some people can have these aspects in the four pillars, but it's not always going to play out like that. So, as astrologers, you've got to use your wits, right? I mean, if people's follow Earth, or they have a favorable Earth element, it's really not going to pull them into the underworld, so to speak. Especially if you're using the Earth element well. But what I have noticed over the years, two patients particularly who had this, had a dog. I think they both had dogs, or either dragons somewhere. I think it could have been in the house of the spouse or the month pillar. And this came up, and yeah, they had some very interesting experiences, to say the least. So this is just one simple way of looking at that subject of, can someone be psychic? I mean, there's other people I actually have done charts for, looked into famous clairvoyants in history and things like that. They actually don't really have that, but they've got other things. But this is one of the basic metaphors in Chinese astrology. We look for that passage into the underworld, and the key for that is going to be the dog and the pig. So that's it. That's how the in Chinese astrology things roll, and it's great to really have a good understanding of this cycle. This is the yin and yang cycle, right? Of the passageway. Got to remember, animals have 2 hour periods in between, because in ancient Chinese 1 hour is two. So it's a little different from how we think. In Taoism, things are a little bit different, but there we go. Psychic ability in a 4 pillars chart. That is what you would look for.